When we talk about the key facts of Naga history, we tend to talk about what happened after the British left. I believe that what happened during the British time over us and before the British, when our modern history started, they are more important. Because when the British came, they were trespassing upon our Naga homeland in the southwest tip of our homeland, and they were surveying the territory to establish the eastern boundary of their empire in South Asia in the early part of the 19th century. And they were going about as if the people, the owners of the land, did not exist, as the British did in many other places in the world. Our people naturally and stoutly resisted their illegal trespassing. That was the honorable part of the beginning of our history. And it went on for over half a century, that kind of resistance. The Nagas fought the British, not the Indians or the Burmese at that time. The question of Nagas fighting the Burmese and the Indians at that time doesn't arise, because at that time India and Burma were a collection of feudal monarchies who were interested only in their little kingdoms. They had nothing called and concern for the India that existed at that time. India did not exist at that time, although a very ancient civilization. And we must tell the Indian people of today and let them know that we are not against you. And after the British left, they gave the Indian people and the Burmese people a larger India and a larger Burma. And this new post-empire India and Burma have tried to control us. We are telling the Burmese and the Indian people that we are not anti-India or anti-Burma, but we are your honorable little neighbor. Don't treat us as if we are troublemakers, secessionist troublemakers. I think that's what we have to understand today, because it's very important for the Nagas that we are not against India, and for India to know that we are not against India or Burma. I think then we can say we need to understand one another's understanding of our respective histories. And the other facts we know, what the Nagas said when the Simon Commission came, and then what we said 18 years later on August 14, 1947, and the plebiscite after that, and the enormous price of sacrifice Nagas paid to defend their position they had maintained before the British left. And so if we can have this understanding conveyed to the Indian people and the Burmese people, that you should talk to us as people with our own understanding of our history. George Orwell, the British writer who was a British civil servant, police officer in Burma, colonial Burma at that time, he knew what was happening. So he said, the most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. I feel that we should see our history from the beginning up to today. Nagas trying very honestly, very honorably, very courageously to defend our understanding of our history, which doesn't mean that we're against the history of other people. I think that's what we have to understand. The Naga struggle is the process that has brought Naga society up to where we are today. And all peoples everywhere struggling for their aspirations, as we are doing and have done, people make mistakes all along the way, starting with a very good beginning, but things go wrong because we are human beings. That's the history of all peoples. And so we have a damage process now producing a poisonous outcome. And so what we need to do today is to realize that the water of the Naga struggle, so to speak, which feeds us, is becoming more and more dirty. We cannot say that one tribe or a group of tribes or this or that faction has damaged the process, because the damage has been going on for a long time. So with that kind of acceptance that yes, all of us have damaged the process, and the time has come now where we are facing a possible settlement, they say. Whatever settlement may come, achieved by one group or a combination of groups, will be the outcome of a damaged process. I think this has to be understood very clearly. So what we need to do now is to realize that it's simple wisdom that we understand the need to help one another to restore the health of the process. What we are going to get by whoever will bring it is going to be the outcome of a damaged process. And I believe if we can look at it that way, we will find the ability to look at our common enemy together, so to speak. The enemy we have created all together. Some may say others have done more than us, but in the eyes of history and Almighty God, we have all contributed. And therefore, if we blame one another, it's not going to help. It will make it worse. The time has come when Nagas say, okay, let us not damage what we have achieved already. Let us stop blaming and accusing one another for what we have not yet achieved, and concentrate on healing what has gone wrong, cleaning up the poison in the process, so that the outcome also will begin to be restored. The outcome is a very wounded one at the moment. We're all afraid of the outcome, frankly. But if we can have that attitude about the damage process, I think Nagas will be able to come together with all our differences, but a common understanding that we face a common crisis, a common danger. I think that way we will help one another. And I think that way we can rebuild our relationships. The way we are going, provoking and blaming one another is the most foolish thing we are doing, because that will inevitably lead to worse and worse relationships, and that's too dangerous. We must not become an area in the interior of Asia where we will create killing fields that will be uncontrollable. And that becomes automatic if we do not start to heal the damaged relationships. That's what I see.